Most people think that the biggest challenge about having a happy retirement is having enough money to actually enjoy that retirement comfortably. And yes, don't get me wrong, money is definitely important, but I think it's what else work gives you beyond a salary. And I think that's the thing that catches most people off guard. And certainly for myself, I was fixated on working hard to make sure that we can go into retirement, my husband, myself, and my dog, being comfortable enough to enjoy it and having that life that we dreamt about for so long. But what I really didn't understand would affect me more than actually worrying about the money in the bank was everything else that work gave me. Work gave me structure, it gave me routine, it gave me connections, it gave me a purpose. And in fact, for 40 years, it gave me a schedule. Every morning I'd get out of bed and I'd know exactly what I was going to do. I might not know the details, but I'd know how many meetings I'd have that day, who I was meeting with. I'd know what projects I needed to drive for that particular day, what tasks I needed to get done. And what I didn't know was how to fill that schedule once it wasn't there anymore. And as much as I was getting to the end of every year and going, oh, that's another year gone, that I'm another step closer to retirement, I didn't really realise that I would miss all of those other things when they were gone. And I think this is the lie that we tell ourselves about retirement. We believe that everything's going to be hunky-dory, provided we are financially comfortable enough to enjoy it. And that financial comfort is what's important to every individual who is approaching retirement. For me, I wanted to have a lifestyle that was familiar. So, not having to watch every single penny, but just being careful and knowing that if we had that level of financial comfort, everything else would fall into place. But it doesn't. Because retirement doesn't just remove the work aspect, the slog, that you experience day in, day out. And that in my case, I was feeling well and truly burnt out by the time I came to retire. That's probably my own fault for being a slave to the work. But it also removed a massive amount of my identity. I had a bit of a crash, I guess, and a sort of period of really questioning, who am I now without work? I didn't know how to introduce myself. And in fact, on LinkedIn, I couldn't bring myself to put Chief Operating Officer retired. I put ex-COO of the last company that I worked at, almost like I was in a transitionary period between my next role. And I think I kind of felt that for a period of time, that I was in holiday mode, waiting for the next thing to come to me, the next role, not the next, how would I say this? I guess not who I am now as a retired person, but I'm in this transition period before the next role appears. And that was a job role, not me in retirement. So that was really weird. I think I've spoken, I've spoken to people who have also retired, and I've asked them, what is it that you've missed most? And I think we've all agreed that it's the connections that you have, the conversations with people, because you have a work family. And in some cases, and certainly in my case, because I worked more than 12 hours every day, they became my work family, and I probably spent more time with them than I did my own family. And I knew all about their lives, you know, I knew their children's names, I knew about their aspirations for their lives. And so I really missed that. And I missed feeling important to them in terms of providing counsel and wisdom and guidance. I was always the go-to person in the workplace. And that was definitely something that I really missed. And I kind of grieved the loss for quite some time. Actually, it took a bit of getting used to. And I felt a less than version of myself for a period of time. The other thing, I was always in the middle of something. So I sat on the senior leadership team. And so I was part of building strategy. I was part of building the company. And so not being in the know, not being included was something that took a little bit of getting used to. So I think that is definitely part and parcel of what we tell ourselves, that retirement is this amazing, amazing moment that you've worked hard for. It's the reward, actually, for a lifetime of hard work. But it does feel a little different. And I'm not sure I felt it was reward. I actually felt that I'd lost a big part of something as I moved into it. And so I wonder if you're feeling that, if you're feeling a sense of loss of being at work and the identity that you had at work. I wonder if you're enjoying the fact that you've built this little retirement pot and that actually you are getting to enjoy it, or does it just feel uncomfortable? Or are you sort of settling into that new space that you're inhabiting, and you're getting used to this new version of you? And if that's the case, you know, please do share with me what your experience has been. And join me, I'm Angela, on this new retirement journey, this midlife period, because let's face it, you know, if you're retiring in your 50s like I have, you know, you could have another 40 years to go. So you're just slightly over halfway in this life that we have. So how are you going to make that as rich as the life that you've just left? How are you going to feel as fulfilled? How are you going to feel as valued as you move into that new transitionary space? I really am keen to hear how you're going. I'm going to be sharing my journey, how I'm transitioning into retirement, what it feels like to be in early retirement and a relatively new retiree, what it's like to be in this midlife space, and the lessons that I'm learning as I go, because we're all in this together. So please subscribe so that you can share this journey with me. Please, as I said, comment and like this video if it has been of any value to you. And I look forward to catching up with you in the next one. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.